Welcome back, everybody. uh, Welcome back to part 2 of the Manosphere and Random Thoughts, aka Delusion in Action. Let's not even waste any time. Let's get right back into it.
Us, depending what year it is. So, like, if you time travel back,
No.
you want to go
If
back in time,
like,
or what?
Depending like what year I get married, like obviously money's not gonna be the same value when I'm older.
Do y'all know the percentage of people that make that amount of money?
It's small.
Yes, very few.
People.
But so you would rather bypass, you would rather take a roll of dice on a 1 in a million chance for a life partner than to give someone a chance that may be workable? I just want.
Wow. There you go. That's a question that should be asked more often than it actually is. And it's true. Would you roll the dice and take a chance on finding that diamond in the rough, that proverbial needle in the haystack, than to take your chances on finding somebody more along your level that you know is going to be honest and stuff like that? Because let's be honest. Let's be completely honest here. Let's be frank and candid. A man is only as faithful as his options. Shout out to the great Chris Rock for that line. He said it first. I don't care what you think. That's where I heard it first. And he said a man is only as faithful as his options, which is a very pretty way of saying if the man has a lot of girls trying to get with him, he eventually is going to take them up on it. The fewer girls that you have, the more likely you are to stay monogamous and faithful. Again, does that pass the common sense test? Is it kind? Is it fair? Is it just? Is it right? No, 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 and no. And yet it is what it is. So, what you saying? And she'd rather roll the dice and look for that, because she's gonna hope. Because that's the other thing. Hope only works in tandem with reality. I hope that one day I can make $1 million. The likelihood of it happening, slim. Very slim. I'm getting up there in age. I have less chances of doing something worthwhile. Well, not less chance of doing something worthwhile. I just have less time to do anything. I'm getting older. So anybody that's going to sit there and say, I'm going to hope that I can find somebody that's going to love me for me and be able to have money and good looks and this, that, and the other thing, good luck. And when it goes wrong, and 9 times out of 10 it will, don't cry this way. I don't want to know it. I don't want to know it, hear it, taste it, touch it, or smell it. Because you know what it is. Hold on a minute. Let's be 1,000% honest here. People like to say that women aren't smart. I'm here to tell you, yes, they are. They're smart enough to fool you. Getting back to the whole thing of Womaneese, if you ask a woman a question and she says, what was the question again? She heard you the first time. She's not stupid. She heard you. She just needs more time to formulate an answer that's going to advance her agenda. So she wants you to repeat it so she gets that much more time to come up with an answer that's politically correct and furthers her narrative. No more, no less. That's Womaneese. It depends. What she really wants to say is, I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. Because I know what you want to hear. I know what the answer actually is, but I don't believe in it, so therefore I'm not going to speak it. And I ask you women, why is that? Why must you make things so hard on yourself? Why? You know what time it is. Your watch ain't broken. You heard the question. You know what he said. You know what the answer should be. But if it doesn't fit your worldview, you won't speak it. And I don't care how many times it's hammered at you, you won't speak it. And I blame that, I blame that on women. You don't want to hear it. And going on that and some other things that I've been thinking about, I've come to the conclusion that y'all can do what you want. You can do what you want, but don't come over this way when it doesn't work out. Go over there and cry in the corner somewhere. They all look so smug. And they look so puffed up with pride. So sure of themselves. And you know what the question is. You know what the answer should be. But you won't betray the sisterhood. You won't betray the unimind. So you say what is politically correct. I want someone with a wonderful personality. I look for that first. Bullshit. No, you don't. Because when two people first meet, long before you look into their personality, you see the person. And judged upon what they look like right off the bat, you make a determination on whether or not you want to talk to them. Again, does it pass the common sense test? Is it kind? Is it just? Is it fair? Is it right? No, 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 and no. And yet, it is. It's one of the ways that we move. And we move that way from time immemorial. I see you before I even hear you. I see you. And men are visual creatures. And as I've said on many different occasions, on many different podcasts, we are simple and we're flexible on that simplicity. Feminine, fit, and friendly. Those are the three things we need, and we don't have to have all three. Two will suffice. One will get you over as long as it's fit. All three, that's the bonus. You got the unicorn. Congratulations to you. Getting back to the video.
I want to know how y'all.
I'm
feel.
workable depending on the
But
lifestyle.
she said 300,000, 80K. That's I ain't mad at that.
80K is less than money
No,
than
no.
I make. So.
Though, and you said $1 million. I think you just playing though. You ain't serious.
No, I'm serious.
Yeah, you gonna be seriously by
Single?
yourself. Yeah.
Wait, so 1 million and
Okay.
then $1 million.
If I meet him and he doesn't have $1 million yet, but he strives to make $1 million,
Right.
like that's fine.
Why does he need to make $1 million?
Or like,
300K.
She wants a high value man.
And he's gonna do him. A high value man is y'all crazy, yo. Good luck, man. Life will teach you. Life will teach you.
I find no fault in his logic. Life will teach you. The question becomes, are you smart enough to understand the lesson learned? And judged on this panel, nope. And that goes for people in general. That's one of the reasons why I don't like fighting. Because back in the day, you could fight somebody, you could beat them, and they're like, okay, you got that. You might even get a good friend out of it. Back in the day. These days, nope. You get one over on them, it may cost you your life tomorrow. Why? Because on this particular day, I beat you. And for that, I lose my life. I tell you, this world is screwed. And more guys are beginning to understand that. And the purpose of this show and other shows like it, now I can't speak to the other shows for sure, but I can say this. These shows are not, I repeat, not to give people dating advice. You can take what somebody says and use it in your life as advice, yes, but that's your option. Shout out to Myron on this one. He said it best. He said, I am here to give guys game on how things work today. And that's what I do. That's how I laid out. This is how they move. This is what they think. This is what they say. This is what they mean. It is then up to the individual listener, i.e. you, to do what you will with the information. You don't have to listen to it. I don't care. You don't have to listen to it. It is what it is. You can take that information, you can run with it, you can listen to it, you can choose to ignore it. Makes me no never mind. I operate with the belief that if one person, here's what I'm saying, applies what I say to their life and gets a positive outcome for it, my job is done. I don't have delusions of grandeur. I'm not trying to change the world. I'm doing this one person at a time. And I'm doing this with the caveat of knowing that not everybody's going to hear me. Or better yet, not everybody wants to hear me. And even if they do hear me, there's no guarantee they're going to do it. And I'm okay with that. I do this because I love doing it. I get a kick out of queuing up the microphone, getting everything together, sitting down, and spitting to you guys. That's why I do what I do. Everything else is a bonus. Let's get back to the video.
So you think it's like impossible for a high value man to not cheat
I
or
could
something?
jump off this bridge. I could jump off this building, land on my feet. It's possible, but is it likely? Probably not. So if y'all want to keep banking your life on a dice roll, you have the right. See, I'm not one of them dudes that tell you shouldn't do this. Do what the fuck you want. Just know what you're asking for, know the probability and the likelihood. You have a small window to have children and be this beautiful woman. You want to roll that 15-year window on meeting a millionaire and expecting him to focus strictly on you in the world where all women want his money? Good luck.
Facts. Facts. I find no fault in his logic again. And he's spitting it in a way that everybody can hear it. Now, what they do with it is another subject altogether. This black girl over here, she don't want to hear it. So she won't listen. And that's on her. Matter of fact, of all these women, the only ones that actually seem like they're actually getting what he's saying are Megan, the girl here, and the Israeli, whoever she is, girl here. Everybody else is the other four, they've tuned out. And that's on them. And I guarantee there'll be the same four sitting there going, why can't I find a man? Where are all the good men? The good men you turned your nose up at because they weren't exciting. They were boring. So you didn't give them a time of day. So they licked their wounds. They kept looking and more than likely found somebody that actually wanted to give them the time of day. And they settled down with them and they married them and they got children and they're living good lives. Is it exciting? No. Is it riveting? Nope. Is it adventurous? Probably not. But it's stable. You can set your watch to it. And what the man is saying is that you can do what you want. Just understand that the outcome may not be what you think it is. And I'll go on the record as to say it will not be what you think it is. Now, could it happen? Yes, absolutely. Will it happen? Probably not. To Eric's his analogy, he could jump off that building and land on his feet with no problems. Could it happen? Of course it could. Would it happen? More than likely, no. And the difference between him and these females is that, unlike the females, he won't try it because he understands there's a good chance he won't walk away from it. There's a good chance he won't live to walk away from it. So rather than roll the dice and try it, he's going to take the safe route and go, nah, I'm good. And that is the major difference between men and women. Men will take a situation, weigh the pros and cons, come up with his solution on it, and then enact it. Women come up to a situation, assess how they feel about it, and work and act on how they feel about it. And feelings are a very, very dangerous way to live because feelings are fleeting. You can go from happy to sad in seconds, depending upon the information that's given to you at the time. You can go from ecstatic to anger based upon what's said and how it makes you feel. That's why I don't like I feel like, because it's not real. It's a temporary state of being. And it's not something I'm going to bet my life on. I could be walking down the street and see a woman I find attractive. And we're coming close to each other. She might even say hi. Say, how you doing? And keep right on walking. Why? Because I got someone at home and I've already done the mental notes in my head. I've done the math. Is talking to this woman worth the potential headaches that those words will cause? Remember the story I told you guys that Chris Rock said quite a while ago on one of his specials? I think it was Bigger and Blacker. He said that a woman and man operate differently, and we're gonna have to come back. He said that a woman and man act differently. He said a boy could introduce his girl to his best friend, and his best friend would say, "Oh, she's real nice. I want to meet somebody just like her." Let's flip that. A girl could introduce her man to another girl, and the girl go, "I want him. And I'll slit her throat to do it." See the difference? The guy said, "I want to find someone like her." The girl said, "I want him." And you can see it. You can see it every day. Now, where I work, there's not very many girls that I would want to talk to. And of those girls that I would want to talk to, we're just friends. And when I say friends, I really mean acquaintances, because they don't know very much about me at all. And we're going to keep it that way for as long as humanly possible. Why? They don't need to know. It's a need to know basis, and they don't need to know. Now, they knew about the illness that I had over the summer, but there's a reason for that. Why? Because I thought that if enough of them knew about it, they'd hit my CashApp and give me some money for it, and I'd take that money and do what I need to do to keep things rolling. It wasn't for nothing. There was a method to the madness. There was an end goal I was looking to achieve. Now, whether I achieved that or not, again, that's the story for another day and another podcast. But they didn't need to know. And not all of them knew. There's some that still don't know. And unless they ask me directly, they're not going to know. I don't want your charity. I don't want your pity. What I want is to do my thing, go home and be with my family. And that is why, in the terms of working every day and showing my worth to my employer, stuff like that, I'm not going to get that far. And the reason why I won't get that far is because I won't go above and beyond, because they're not my focus. It's fun working there. I enjoy what I do. But it's not me. I don't live to do it. I work to live. I don't live to work. And there's a huge difference in that. And if you don't know, ask somebody. Let's get back to the video one more time.
Well, I'm not saying he needs to be a millionaire now.
But he shouldn't. No man needs to be a millionaire to get a woman. Y'all need to lower your value. I know you're attractive and all that, but that don't mean you deserve a man with money.
Doesn't this tie into the conversation we were
For
having?
money, yes, because money doesn't make a man.
This ties into the
Or
conversation we were having earlier about like, do women need to lower their standards or do men need to step up? And it's like, you got women who want a guy who makes $1 million. That's like a point. I mean, it's definitely less than 1%. It's even less than that. It's a guy who makes $1 million. That's like.
And this is another thing. Y'all don't respect a man's natural instinct. So men are naturally polygamous, naturally. They tone that down for you. So once a man is empowered financially, the more money a man has, the more financially astute he becomes, the more access he has, that brings his nature to the surface. So you're trying to tone down a rich man and you want him to strictly deal with you, you don't understand man at all. And when y'all evaluating your mates, you're not taking into account the natural instincts and nature of a man at all. You're assuming.
I said it. And he just danced around it, but he said the same thing. A man is only as faithful as his options. If you got a man making north of 6 figures, he's attractive, he's fit, he's charismatic, he's got riz, he's got game, he knows how to talk to you, he knows what to say, he knows what to do, and he got his eye on you. Do you think for 1 nanosecond that you're going to be able to lock him down? Him? He'll smash you. That goes without saying. But will he commit to you? Because remember, a guy's function is to sow his seed. So a guy wants to smash. A girl's function is the reproduction of the species, which means she wants commitment. She wants to lock it down after you have sex, because that's the way things go these days. Before it used to be love, marriage, sex. Now it's love, sex, marriage. Not saying it's right. I'm saying what it is. We're peeling it all the way back now. It's not about what you're doing. It's not even about how you're doing it. This is how it's done. And you can take that and you can do with it whatever you want. I don't care. Because as I've said before, I got mine. So what you all do is what you all do. It doesn't affect me at all, because I'm not the one, you're not the ones I'm coming home to. You're not the reason why I get up and do what I do every day. You're just not. Let's get back to it.
I'm naturally a hoe.
I believe
That's not
true.
a hoe though. That's the truth.
It is a hoe.
Nothing. How is it a hoe? We're just,
Because you can go and fuck
naturally-
100
we're not
women.
talking about just fucking. We're talking about just
You
men
can
are naturally
be
polygamous
with
You're
outside
dating
of sex.
multiple women. There's gonna be some STDs and all type of
If they
things in that mix.
that's
some
not
hoe shit.
guaranteed, but that's not. It's called getting checked. Y'all act like it's guaranteed to get something by being with people. You can get checked and find out. So let's stop acting weird like that's impossible. You can find out what they have and deal with them. But what I'm saying is, regardless of how you feel about it, A man is not naturally polygamous nowhere in nature. It ain't got nothing to do with.
You just said he was polygamous.
I say he's not naturally monogamous. Excuse me.
Oh, okay.
Nowhere in nature is the male species monogamous.
Side note. Are there some species that mate for life? Yes. Is it a majority? No. Therefore, what he's saying is statistically correct. You can always find an exception to the rule, but the exception never makes the rule. And it's one of those things, I think I'm going to start a podcast very, very soon on buzzwords and how they should be interpreted. When you speak on generalities, you should always speak with the belief that the person you're speaking to will respond in kind. Women, as a whole, don't. I got lucky. Mine does. Mine is very intelligent. And we have some really, really good conversations. Do we always agree with each other? No, we don't. But we respect each other enough to understand it and move forward from it. And we love each other enough to understand that's how he thinks. He's entitled to that what he thinks. Let's go forward. That's it. Someone once asked me what was the secret to my successful marriage of almost 30 years. It's very, very simple. At the end of the day, I make sure I have more good days than bad days. That's it. As you lay down to bed at night, you tally up the good things, you tally up the bad things, and you try to make sure that you have more good things than bad things. Because if you do, as the days become weeks, the weeks become months, and months become years, years become decades, all that stuff adds up. So you can say, all in all, I've had a good run. I enjoy my life. I am content. I am satisfied with my lot in life. Here it is. That's what it is. Let's listen to it a little bit more of this because, again, I don't know how much more of this I can take.
And nothing about his biology makes him a monogamous, even when you take sex out of it. Men oftentimes have positions and be in positions where they're benefiting the many, like you'll see a minister. He talks to the whole congregation. A lot of women have put their emotional and mental trust into this one man. That's still a polygamous situation. It's just not sex is involved. So men are just naturally doing for the many. That's why a man can have 20 women pregnant while you can sit down for 9 months and be with that one child. So y'all keep comparing yourselves to men. It's just not the same thing. Men are not naturally monogamous, and the more you empower a man, the more likely he's not to be. Especially in today's time, we know most women just want him for his money. Why the fuck would he just pick one of y'all?
Wow. And there you have it. There it is. There it is. And he has to be empowered by the woman. Well, not necessarily, because a guy's going to do what a guy wants to do. A woman has input. Yes, she does. Absolutely. But is that the end all and be all? No. It's like that whole thing. behind every successful man is a strong woman. No, not necessarily so. Because a guy, okay, let's take, I know people don't like him, but let's take Elon Musk. He created Tesla, SpaceX, and a bunch of other things. Do you think that without a strong woman behind him, he wouldn't have gotten there? Here's the newsflash for you, an uncomfortable truth. Shout out to that podcast. But it's an uncomfortable truth for you. He got there without a woman. He's there. And there's no one back there that can say, I helped him get there. No, you didn't. He got there in spite of you, not because of you. Unbelievable. This podcast is a long one. 7 hours, 30 minutes, and 48 seconds. It's one of those podcasts that you start when you get to work and play it on your headphones all day. And it's one of the better ones. Shout out to Brian and Andrew and Eric and everybody on the show. Because they tell you things, and if you really listen to them, go beyond the entertainment value of it, but actually listen to them. They impart nuggets of wisdom there. And what they do is what most people in this situation do, myself included. We tell you how it is and leave it to you to do whatever you want with it. That's it. No more, no less. And with that, you've come to the end of another one. Want to thank you guys if you stayed this long and played both videos to their conclusion. Thank you very much. I hope that we were able to impart some wisdom. Hope you got some enjoyment out of it. We hope you learned something. And again, as always, if you like what we do, if you enjoy the content, please consider, actually no, don't consider, just hit the like button. It takes roughly 1 second out of your day. Like what we're doing, take the time to support it and hit the button. And then do whatever you want. Well, as I said before, we operate out of the power of 5. So liking is just 1. Comment. You agree with it? You disagree with it? You want to ask a question? You want to lay on a point of view? Drop it below. Thoroughly enjoy reading them. Subscribe. Yeah, I'm rocking with you guys. I want to make sure I watch more podcasts like this. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell if you want to make sure that you don't miss a single episode. Share. If you like it, chances are other people like it too. So shoot a link. Those 5 things will help us grow in ways that will honestly amaze you. We're one of the best kept secrets on the internet, but we're trying to break free of that. And only you can help us do that. So with that being said, until the next, this is OBJ, your highly favored, humble, and gracious host, saying thank you all for watching. Take care of yourselves. We out of here.